Welcome back. Up until now, we talked about regular expressions quite loosely. And you should understand that it helps us match different things together. But the problem is, how can I really apply this to real life scenarios? Well, a good use case is perhaps when you're collecting emails. Maybe you're creating a startup. This startup wants to collect, let's say, emails of interested customers. Now, we want to make sure that whoever is interested in our startup enters proper email addresses, right? Because we don't want anybody to fill our databases or our Excel sheets with random words. We want to make sure that something is a correct email. Otherwise, it says, hey, this is not a correct email. Please try again. And regular expression is a great thing to use for validation and just making sure that whatever a user inputs or whatever another machine inputs into your code is in the correct form. So let me show you an example of how I would do this. Let's say I want to do an email validation. Well, the first thing I would do is simply type in Python email validation regex. And here you see here that we have a lot. How to check for valid email addresses. And pretty much the first couple of answers are going to be what you're looking for. I like this one. Email address regular expression that works 99.99% of the time. That's good enough for me. So in here, you see that we have some idea of what we can use. If I scroll down, looks like we have regular expression for different languages. All right, let's do Python. I'm simply going to copy this. And now in here, let's go to our regular expression 101 and just copy this in here. Now I get an error because you see here that the R is already included because I've selected Python here. So let's just remove the brackets. Again, if we hover over here, it's going to tell us about each thing that it's trying to do. And we also have the explanation. So this is how I like using regular expression. I find something online that people have used in the past. I don't try to reinvent the wheel and then try to understand it. So just to test this out, if I type in an email address here, look at that. I get a match. I get a full match and it matches the group one. Let's go one by one. First, I see that I have the brackets. So this is the capturing group. I'm trying to capture one data point. If, let's say, I enter another email here, that's not going to capture it. If I go like this, it's not going to capture it because, we're looking for one capturing group. Okay, next I see that it's asserting a position at the start of the line. So the start of the line, we want to make sure that it captures this. So it matches a single character present in a set. So this email can be anything. It could be letters, it could be numbers, and then finally it could be underscore. It could have a dot in there. It could have plus, it could have minus, and then finally plus is a quantifier. So it matches between 1 and unlimited times. So this string can be as long as I want and it's still going to work. It's going to accept plus, minus, it's going to accept underscore, but it's not going to accept an exclamation mark because it's not in here. All right, so that's good. What about next? Well, the next part is the @. It's literally the @. We have to make sure we have it. And then after the @, once again, we have the characters that we can use with a plus at the end to say, hey, you can have as many of these as you want. Perfect. Next, we have a special one. Matches the character dot, literally. So because dot in regex, if I remove it, actually means something, it matches any character, one. We want to make sure that the dot, is exactly what we're looking for. There needs to be a dot for, let's say, .com or .ca or .net or .org. If instead I didn't have this slash, this could be any character. This is still a matching string without a dot. So again, special character right here. And again, it actually gives you explanation. So if you scroll down through here, it'll tell you exactly what it does. All right, after the dot, once again, we have anything that we want within these square brackets, then as long as we want, and then finally this $sign says, hey, it has to end with this. This is the end of the line. Awesome. So using just that, we're able to figure out exactly how to do an email validation. So all I need to do now is, let's say, go to Code Generator, copy this piece of code. Again, we're using a raw string because we want to make sure that Python interpreter just doesn't try to add any special abilities to it. We just want to make sure that this is a raw string. Make sure I end that. All right, perfect. So now inside of this string, let's say I have an email address that a user sends me, such as b@b.com. If I just remove all of these and just do a pattern, and let's just simply do, well, let's just check if A exists. If I click run, all right, this matches. But if somebody gives me a wrong email address or something that's not formatted properly, let's say just like this, and I click run, I get none. So I could do an if statement saying, hey, if there's no matching object, well then tell them, sorry, try again. Very, very cool. So I have an exercise for you. Using what you've just learned, and definitely your Google skills, because with regular expressions, you will Google. You're not going to memorize any of this. I mean, I don't. What I want you to do is to create also a password checker. So the password has to have a few requirements. So the password has to be at least 8 characters long, and it can contain any sort of letters, numbers, and you know what? It can contain, how about these symbols? That's it. So write a regular expression just like this using this regex 101. And in the next video, we're going to try and do this as well. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.